Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here and you are watching the detailed camera review of the new ASUS Zenfone Max M2. The Max M2 is the latest budget offering and this device comes with a Snapdragon 632 octa-core chipset with a 4GB RAM. In terms of the camera, the Max M2 is quite well equipped for the segment with dual camera setup, so let's find out how it is in the segment. First, let's have a look at the camera hardware offered. The Zenfone Max M2 comes with a dual camera setup with a primary 13 megapixel camera with f-stop 1.8 aperture. There is also a secondary 2 megapixel dedicated depth sensor. The rear camera supports EIS 4K recording and also has LED flash. The front camera on the Max M2 is an 8 megapixel shooter with f-stop 2.0 aperture, which is supported by an LED flash for low light selfies. So let's have a look at the photos taken. First, the daylight shots. So looking at the daylight captures, you could see Zenfone Max M2 produces images with good details. The overall clarity of the images also looks quite okay for the segment it is being offered. The sharpness levels are not as good as the Max Pro M2 but does a decent job altogether. Similar to the Max Pro M2, the colors are natural once again on the Max M2 and does not saturate. The dynamic range is pretty average on the Max M2. Moving on to the close-up shots. Here again you could see good details, but the sharpness levels are not that great. When you zoom into the images, you could see images turn out to be slightly blurry in nature. The close-up shots have quite decent color reproduction and overall it does a decent job in the close-up shots. Now moving on to the low light images. With adequate artificial light, the images shot on the Zenfone Max M2 looks decent with f1.8 aperture. But at the same time you could see the amount of noise creeping in and this is quite evident in the images. When light drops further, you could see noise levels are also increased. The colors are quite good in the low light captures and we feel ASUS can do a slightly better job here with the update, especially with the f1.8 aperture. The portraits offer good details and decent sharpness levels. The edge detection in the portrait is quite good, but at the same time with complex background, it does blur out some portion of your ears and hairs. Finally, the selfie experience. The 8 megapixel f2.0 camera on the Zenfone Max M2 takes good selfies. The skin tones are quite good and the details in the selfie is also acceptable and they are sharp. The dynamic range in the selfie is also good. The low light selfie performance and with a screen flash, you could see a lot of noise but offers decent details. The Zenfone Max M2 also offers portrait mode for selfie camera and here again it is quite average with edge detection being not accurate. So this is the video sample taken using the Zenfone Max M2 rear camera. It can record videos in 1080p resolution as well as 4K recording is supported, and we are taking this using the 1080p resolution with EIS enabled, so you can see that how good the quality of the video is and how stabilized the video recording is from the rear camera on the Zenfone Max M2. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the ASUS Zenfone Max M2. It can record videos in 1080p resolution, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the front facing camera on the Zenfone Max M2. So summing up, how good is the camera on the Zenfone Max M2? The biggest drawback of the Max M2 in terms of the camera is the sluggish camera app. We expect ASUS to fix these issues in the upcoming update. The camera on the Max M2 is quite decent and capable of taking good images in daylight. So that's all guys with the camera review of the Zenfone Max M2. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. This is Namal signing off. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.